Take the risk or lose the chance. Namaskar, welcome to Next IS. I hope you are doing well. In this video, we will cover major headlines of the Hindu, Indian Express, and Press Information Bureau. So without wasting any time, let's start today's discussion. Now, according to recent government data, retail inflation eased to a one-year low of 4.75% in May as prices of some kitchen items declined marginally. Inflation in food basket is marginally down, but food inflation increased in urban India. And do you know, friends, government has tasked the Reserve Bank of India to ensure the CPI inflation remains at 4% with a margin of 2% on either side. Prime Minister of India will travel to Italy to attend G7 outreach meet. Apart from leaders of other G7 countries, India will be among 12 countries invited to the outreach, including Algeria, Argentina, Brazil, Egypt, Kenya, Mauritania, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Tunisia, Turkey, and UAE. Talking about G7, it is an informal grouping of 7 of the world's advanced economies. It was established as a platform for economic and financial cooperation in response to the 1973 energy crisis. It comprises Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, United Kingdom, United States, and European Union. Talking about the importance of G7 for India, India's regular participation at the G7 summit clearly points to increasing recognition and contribution of the efforts India has been consistently making in trying to resolve global challenges, including those of peace, security, development, and environmental preservation. According to recent study, India is the world's second largest source of nitrous oxide. China topped the list, and major source of these emissions comes from fertilizer usage. Talking about nitrous oxide, it is a greenhouse gas that heats up the atmosphere far more than carbon dioxide. It is a long-lived, potent greenhouse gas that has been accumulating in the atmosphere since the pre-industrial era, and human-made emissions of nitrous oxide come mainly from applying nitrogen fertilizers and animal waste to farmland and pastures. A recent study shows that elephants might call each other by name. Talking about elephants, they are the largest land mammals on earth and have distinctly massive bodies, large ears, and long trunks. They are highly intelligent, have keen memory, and are known for their problem-solving skills. There are two types of elephants, which comprises Asian elephants and African elephants. Asian elephants are listed as endangered species in the IUCN Red List. And do you know, friends, there are two subspecies of African elephants, and these are savanna elephant and forest elephant. Forest elephant is categorized as critically endangered in IUCN Red List, and African savanna elephant as endangered species. Now, scientists of the Ahmedabad-based Physical Research Laboratory have discovered 3 new craters on Mars. These craters have been discovered in Tharsis volcanic region on Mars, and on the recommendations of the Physical Research Laboratory, the International Astronomical Union Working Group for Planetary System Nomenclature approved naming 3 craters on Mars. One crater has been named Lal crater after Devendra Lal, a renowned Indian geophysicist and director of Physical Research Laboratory from 1972 to 1983. This crater is 65 km wide. Second crater has been named Mursan crater after a town in Uttar Pradesh. Mursan is a 10 km wide crater. And last is Hilsa crater, which is 10 km wide, and it is named after a town in Bihar. Now, recently, central government has approved the Uttarakhand government's proposal to rename Joshimath as Jyotirmath and Koshya Kutoli as Shri Kanchi Dham. It is believed that area was originally called Jyotirmath after Adi Guru Shankaracharya visited it in 8th century to perform penance under the Amarkalp tree and attained enlightenment. However, over time it became popular as Joshimath. Next article talks about heat waves, and it is in the news because ongoing spell of extreme heat in many parts of the country has once again reopened discussions on the inclusion of heat waves as one of the notified disasters under the Disaster Management Act 2005. Now, what are notified disasters? So friends, Disaster Management Act was enacted in the wake of the 1999 Odisha super cyclone and 2004 tsunami. It defines a disaster as catastrophe, mishap, calamity, or grave occurrence arising from natural or man-made causes that results in substantial loss of life, destruction of property, or damage to the environment. It must also be of such nature which is beyond the coping capacity of the community. If such an event happens, then the provisions of DM Act can be invoked, and the provision allows states to draw money from 2 funds that have been set up under this law, and these are National Disaster Response Fund at the national level and State Disaster response fund at the state level. Now, why heat waves were not included as notified disasters? So friends, heat waves have been common in large parts of northern, eastern and central India, and these were not viewed as disasters. When the act came into being in 2005, it was because heat waves were common occurrence during summer, not really an unusual weather event, and states have put a demand of including heat waves as notified disasters before the last three finance commissions, but finance commissions have not entirely been convinced. The 15th Finance Commission, whose recommendations are currently being applied, said that existing list of notified disasters covers the needs of the states to large extent and did not find merit in the request to include heat waves. Next article talks about Satnami community, which called for a demonstration at Balado Bazar district in Chhattisgarh to protest vandalism directed at the structure of religious significance. Talking about Satnami community, it is also known as Satnam Panth. It is a religious movement founded by Ghasidas. This sect mostly comprises Dalits. Historians have called the Satnamis a monotheistic sect who followed neither Hinduism nor Islam and whose scriptures emphasized leading a life based on good conduct rather than on ritual and dogma. And do you know, friends, Girodh Puri is the birthplace of Guru Baba Ghasidas. He was born in 1756 and Amar Cave is named after one of his 5 sons, Amar Das. Next article focuses upon World Day Against Child Labor, which was observed on 12th June. It is aimed at raising awareness and mobilizing efforts to end child labor in all its forms. And do you know, friends, according to United Nations, about 16 crore children worldwide are victims of child labor, which deprives them of their right to an education and threatens their well-being and future. And theme of this year is Let's Act on Our Commitments and Child Labor. So with this, let's conclude today's discussion. Thanks for listening, and for regular updates, you can follow us on various social media platforms.